practical in the sense that all the speakers now are the artists, the film artists, who will stay here for another week and do research on handmade emulsion, primitive color, maybe, I don't know, down in our lab. And I have chosen certain topics we could do during our research in the lab, coming from tomorrow on. First of all, it's the emulsion itself, because the emulsion till now, what we make, most of us are making, or at least I am making, is a very simple, low sensitivity emulsion. So it would be nice if we can get a higher sensitivity. It also would be nice if we can, what already Brian said, if we could make an orthogrammatic and a pengrammatic. I still have a lot of pepper stain, but maybe we can solve that one too. Coating. Coating is an issue, of course, always, because if you want an even image, some of us want an even image and some don't want an even image. So, but at least if we are capable of making an even, very precisely, or at least as precise as possible, coated image, it would be nice. So we can go beyond that and change it again. And of course we have the problem, because most of us now use existing film, found footage. We bleach away the image and we have a nice clear film which we then coat. But it would be nice if we just could make our own base. So the clear film where we can coat the emulsion on. So that's one of the topics we're going to hopefully discuss. And the archival concerns we discussed already a little. It was basically one of our researchers, one of the filmmakers, thought it would be nice to have this in as well. And so I'm basically going to tell what my research was till now. Actually what I did till now is making the most basic emulsion there is, and that was not because I cannot make another one, it's more like kind of easiness. It's really just silver nitrate, potassium bromide and some gelatin, water of course, and that's it. This is a so-called colorblind emulsion, which means it's actually mostly sensitive for violet and blue. So I can use it in red light downstairs. It's done in 10 minutes. With this emulsion, I basically did these tests. These tests were for film, and I did some coating tests, and I did some coloring tests, but only with this very simple black and white, non-sensitive emulsion of mine. I'm not going to say too much about it, because for me this is done for now. I want to go beyond the tinting toning. I want to make pengrammatic film, because for me pengrammatic films means the door opening to color systems. And quickly to tell something about pengrammatic, underneath you see the vision of the spectrum for human eyes, which comes from violet to red. Although here on my computer it looks orange, but yeah. So on top you see the wavelengths of this. So the emulsion I make, the simple emulsion I make to now has this, only sees the violet and blue, a little towards the green. But that's basically what it sees. But to make color, you need a film, a black and white film, who is sensitive for this whole spectrum. So also for red. So a blue sensitive is what I'm making now, and then I want to go to an orthogrammatic and then to a pengrammatic. And I found all these dyes. These are dyes to make it or autochromatic or panchromatic. So for tomorrow on, we bought almost half a kilo of silver nitrate and a little gold chloride, which was even twice as expensive than and some very expensive dyes. But we have we only knew going to use a minimum, so I could afford just small amounts. Ooh, that's a lot of light. So I bought these two. The Emulsion B, which is to make it, if I'm correct, autochromatic, and then I'm going to make it panchromatic. Oops, too quick. That's what I want, actually. So these dyes, and we're going to pour them in tiny bits. And I also heard that, especially the blue color, somehow. Brian, correct me if I'm wrong. If I use the red one in my emulsion, it's sensitive for green. Is it correct?
It should be sensitive for red.
It should be sensitive
for
for red.
It should be the same as the colour of the dye.
Okay, because I read somewhere that they say the other way around, but we'll find out. It's red magenta it will get when I dissolve it, and the other one will get greenish blue when I dissolve it. And I heard that the binacinol I have to do in alcohol, dissolve it in alcohol to get it the good color, because if I do it in water it will be the opposite color. So that is going to be my experiment next week. And in the end, of course, I want to achieve something similar like this. Then totally it will not be, because for me my way of filming is partly going from mistake to mistake to mistake, and then my film is finished. So, but for now this is my goal. But actually there is another thing I even like more, and I hope Maxim can say some of his experiments with it, and that's of course this one. This is the Autochrome by the Lumiere brothers, and it was made with potato starch, colored potato starch, and it's also an additive color mixing. Also this one is basically additive if you do it with projection, or subtractive if you do it printed. But Autochrome is a additive color mixing. So what they had was green, blue, kind of green, and a kind of red, because their emulsion was not totally sensitive for red yet. And this was glued on a plate of glass, and the reversal emulsion, or at least they used it as reversal, was coated on the back side of the glass. So the image was photographed through this potato starch. This is of course a huge magnification of it. This you will not see with your bare eyesight, but this is actually what I like. So for me, panchromatic. This is a project I'm working on now. So what I do instead of making, I'm still working with my colorblind blue sensitive emulsion, but I spray it, I coat it in a certain way. It has the same look as an Autochrome, but then magnified. And I reprint it to different colors. I don't give anything about natural colors. I want to go totally beyond. So I have a black and white negative or positive, and I go from there on. And this is what I'm working on. Just a quick thing, this is how I coat. I glue the film on the table. It's 2 meters long, so that's my range. And then I spray it with the cheapest of the cheapest airbrush, because I found out that the size of the airbrush of the cheapest model making airbrush is exactly the good size of how I coat. And to make it even easier for the ones who are a little familiar already with home coating, it's easy if the gelatin stays on a certain temperature, which is around 30-40 degrees, otherwise it gets cluttered. And it's difficult to coat, so you have to get it on a certain temperature. First I did that with a cup of warm water, but I made a lot of stains on my film because the water somehow in the dark. I have to do this in red light. I have to coat in red light, which is blue sensitive. If I will make panchromatic, I have to do it in total darkness. So that's a little step I still have to think about. And
we did it.
sorry? We beat it. Yes, we're going to beat it.
Yeah.
I looked for night vision.
I have one.
You have one. So
If it comes in my suitcase.
oh, it's in your suitcase. Lindsay will be there too, but she lost her suitcase in Paris on the airport. So I coat my films to get this grainy look, and I keep it warm with a very standard cold pack or warm pack, and that is what I do till now. And I have two films here, and they're old. I'm not going to use them anymore. These were coated films, one with a brush, one with my airbrush, and now they're exposed. You can see the surface. You can feel why I like this rain so much. Is it yours?
No, it was cool.
This is also the color you get when you mix it to an emulsion. So it actually looks very much in color to print stock, black and white print stock. And this stuff is like one-ish, around one-ish ASA. So we also have to solve the problem of a very unsensitive, basically just print stock. That's it is, not more. So we bought some gold chloride, some TO, sulfate and stuff to higher, hopefully, the sensitivity and still make it workable so it will not fall. But all these are small steps we still have to figure out. The idea behind this seminar and also behind REMI that everything we will do, or at least as much as possible, will be published on the REMI website, so everyone can join in or watch our results, or at least have a notion what we did and how far, because this is ongoing and we're back to the basic. We just start reinventing and re-engineering. So, thank you. And I think we now will have Robert saying something about alternative emulsions, because this is a silver emulsion, but of course there are also slightly different emulsions, correct?